What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with DFS, and in today's video, I'm going over Week 8's main slate cash plays. So these are guys to target in cash, so 50-50s, double-ups, head-to-heads, stuff like that. They're going to be higher owned, so you more than likely, this season's been different. If you've played tournaments, you can attest for this as well, but tournaments have been kind of bad for all the chalk plays continuously hitting. We have yet to see like a good amount of chalk plays kind of just suck. It's been pretty locked in by everybody so far this DFS season. So let's get into it. At quarterback, Lamar, if he is playing at 6,800 against the Bears, it's a really good matchup for him where you're getting two defenses that are bottom 10 against the quarterback in Lamar and Caleb Williams. Chicago dealing with some injuries. Obviously, Jalen Johnson has been out, but Tyreek Stevenson has not practiced this week, so that could be another blow. DeAndre Hopkins already ruled out for Baltimore, but you still have Zay Flowers, who we'll talk about shortly, Rashad Bateman, the tight ends. The other one we'll talk about is Derrick Henry. He's at a really cheap price, but for quarterback, Lamar Jackson at 6,800 seems really, really good. We'll continue to go down. And Bo Nix at 6K is kind of like the other guy that I have in cash right now at home against Dallas. Diggs has not practiced this week either. Seems like he's going to be out. Obviously, last week's game, 40 points seems amazing until you realize what his points were until the fourth quarter. Really had a strong showing in that fourth quarter to get that type of outcome. Obviously, I think we can all agree that this is one of the better games on the slate where you get a Dallas team who their offense is amazing, their defense is terrible. Denver team who their offense hasn't looked like elite or top tier. And their defense has had games like the Giants to allow them to score 30 plus points in the game. So, but Bo Nix at 6K is kind of my other quarterback that I'm looking at in cash. If you want to go like a Caleb Williams, a Dak, a Jalen Hurts route, that's okay. That's understandable. So let's move on to running backs. Running backs, I think running back is going to be pretty balanced out this week as far as where ownership is going to be. Obviously, we have the biggest names for running back this week in Jonathan Taylor, and a great matchup against Tennessee, which got even better according to practice reports because Simmons has not practiced. So if Simmons is out, that's a huge blow to Tennessee's run defense, who is already really bad as is. Christian McCaffrey at 9K against Houston. This one, I think of the three, is the least likable. And then Bijan, 8,800 against Miami. So take it with what you will. You're going to have to pay up quite a bit to get one of these running backs in your lineup. We'll kind of talk about a wide receiver who is now in a really, really good spot based off of an injury. But yeah, if you want to go for one of these running backs, go for it. I like Bijan and Jonathan Taylor the most. Spending down a little bit, Devon Achane I think is interesting against Atlanta. Both their linebackers are banged up. Neither one has practiced this week, so that could give an opening for someone like Achane. Darren Waller just hit the IR, so he's going to be out now. We already know Tyreek Hill is obviously out. So at 7,300, it seems like Devon Achane is going to get a lot of volume in this game. We'll just see where that outcome comes with the volume and kind of if Miami can have a suitable offense. They are just really bad. We start to get to the cheaper running backs, and this is where we're going to see yet again more split ownership. Rachaad White is 6,400 on the road against New Orleans. Already know that we don't have Bucky, we don't have Godwin. Evans is now ruled out at least for the regular season. Emeka Buka's been banged up. So Rachaad White seems like a really, really good pick at 6,400. His price point really hasn't changed. Obviously, the game against Detroit, which is fair enough. Detroit's played running backs really good, but you see the Seattle San Fran, and we're getting a similar type game here against New Orleans. So to put Rachaad White in this kind of same outcome, I think is fair. Somewhere around 15 to 20 points for Rachaad White is probably on the table in this one. And then we go a little cheaper. Breece Hall, if he's playing at 6,100 against Cincy, since he's just terrible against the running back. So Don't know who the quarterback's going to be, which is kind of annoying to say the least. Garrett Wilson gonna be out, so that wide receiver room is ugly. I know people are going to be turned off against the last two performances out of Breece Hall, but when you consider that they played Denver one week and Carolina the next, and Denver's a really good defense, shut down the pass, so they were able to stop the run even easier against Carolina. Just for one, bad quarterback play. But two, Carolina's rush defense has been really, really good this season. Now he gets a way better matchup at 6,100. But then you get Derrick Henry at 6K. Derrick Henry was up to 8,200 at one point. Started the season 7,200. Now we're getting him cheap in a really, really good matchup against the Bears. Baltimore's team is getting healthy. If Lamar's in, I think this is a really good leverage play to get off of Lamar and go someone like a Bo Nix, and you pay 6K for a quarterback, 6K for a running back, and you still have a very heavy outcome. So Derrick Henry's in a really, really good spot here against the Bears. I think it's a really good bounce back. They're home. Last I checked, they were like 6.5 point home favorites, so it's a really good bounce back game for Derrick Henry. The other side of that, DeAndre Swift is yet again getting really, really good volume lately. The last 2 weeks combined it for over 100 yards each. Got over 20 DraftKings points in both of them as well. Yet again, a really good matchup against Baltimore. Just know that Baltimore's their team is getting healthy, and Bears offensive line kind of banged up, so that one's not as lovable, but it is there. And then the last one I'll say for cash is J.K. Dobbins at 5,800 against Dallas. So obviously Denver wants to establish a run. J.K. Dobbins has been a really big part of that. Hasn't been used as much in the receiving game as we'd like, but if this man gets you a touchdown, he gets, 80 yards and maybe a reception or two, he's getting you 15, 16 points at 5,800. So I think it's a good value if you want to pay up for one of these running backs. Moving on to wide receiver, Jamar Chase. I said this one wasn't as good at the first look, but guess what? We don't know who the quarterback is for the Jets. Doesn't really bother Chase, right? Well, Sauce Gardner has not practiced this week. I believe it's a concussion he's going through. Usually if a player goes through a concussion, they're out that week. So Jamar Chase at 8,100 at home against the Jets. I mean, seems like a really, really good play. Obviously, the Jets' offense has been ugly, so you have to take that into consideration. Like the game against Pittsburgh, it was back and forth game, pretty much. So Jamar Chase was heavily included. But the targets that Chase has gotten with Flacco have been very good, right? He's gotten 35 targets in 2 games. Should have got the 100-yard bonus in that game, but still, 26 receptions in 2 games with Flacco. Bengals aren't out of it yet. They're still trying. So at 8,100, I think Jamar Chase is a really, really good play here. Obviously, you would have to fade one of the big running backs, so that's kind of scary. But we'll see what we get into later this week. Drake London, it doesn't matter if Penix is the quarterback or Kirk Cousins. This man's going to get targeted a lot against this bad Miami secondary. The thing with this is Bijan's in an amazing spot against Miami. So do you want to go London or do you want to go Bijan? I can't see a scenario where you take both. Courtland Sutton at 6,200, yet again in a really good spot. I liked him last week. Didn't pop off as much as I'd like him to. Only got 16.7 at 5,900. It's not the greatest, but he's in another really good spot. Like I mentioned, Diggs is likely out this week again, so you're getting Courtland Sutton in a really good spot. A.J. Brown at 6,100. Watch this one. Has not practiced this week. Doesn't mean that he won't play, but if for whatever reason he doesn't play, Devontae Smith at 5,900 is in a really, really healthy spot in that one. And then we get to some of the cheaper wide receivers. Olave, 5,800 again. I don't love Olave as much. If I'm going to pay for somewhere around here, I like Ted McMillan with Andy Dalton in, right? Last week was an ugly game against the Jets, but we've seen Andy Dalton be able to air it out a little more efficiently than Bryce Young. Bryce Young's really good short, medium type of quarterback. He's not as good with the deep ball, so Andy Dalton's got a little bit of more explosiveness in that aspect. So Tet McMillan, I think, is playable at 5,700. We go down cheaper. I did really like Michael Pittman at 5,600, but if Lamar's in, Zay Flowers at 5,400 against the Bears, who were, like I said, Jalen Johnson obviously out, Tyreek Stevenson hasn't practiced, so they could be down 2 out of their top 3 corners. We already know they're out of 1, but he'll see Kyler Gordon quite a bit. Kyler Gordon's their slot corner, so we'll see what that looks like. But I think it's a really good bounce back opportunity for this Baltimore offense if Lamar is in. Granted, this is all if Lamar is in, so do with that as you will. Wan'Dale Robinson at 5,200. Adoree Jackson likely out for Philly. Kind of saw what he did 2 weeks ago against Philly. Got you 20 points. In the last 2 weeks, 6 receptions and 80+ a game. So that Jackson Dart Wan'Dale Robinson connection has been really, really solid. So that's pretty much it for cash. A lot of these guys I'll mention in my GPP video. So if you're looking, hey, why didn't you talk about so-and-so? That will be in my GPP video. Kind of Zay Flowers, Wan'Dale Robinson are my 2 cheaper guys I'm going at wide receiver. I will mention, not like don't love it for cash, but if you're looking for some value, we're going to go to the Houston wide receivers where Nico Collins and Christian Kirk have yet to practice, and we get Xavier Hutchinson, 3,700, Jaden Higgins, 35, and Jalen Noel, 35. Going to step up in that role. There's a tight end we'll talk about here shortly, but those guys they're going to be on the field. San Fran's defense is so banged up with injuries. We're going to see a D'Amico Ryans, Robert Saleh battle. So yeah, like San Fran's defense is pretty down bad right now. So like I said, I just wanted to mention the Houston wide receivers. So moving on to tight end, Tyler Warren, yet again, he will always be a cash consideration play for me. Does not matter the matchup. This man is eating and continuously eating. Josh Downs looks like he's going to be back. May not need him as much. I think that's usually the concern with Warren is not, hey, the matchup, because apparently he's matchup proof, right? It's Tyler Warren. It's just if the game is going to be healthy enough for him, but he is pretty much consistently the number 1 pass catcher on this offense. We'll see some Pittman games. We'll see Josh Downs get included. Alec Pierce got included some. But Warren's been pretty much that solid piece. Fannin Jr. is worth mentioning again for Cleveland against New England. It's a really, really good matchup for him. But he is priced up pretty damn high when he only got 7.6 last week against Miami. Really good matchup against New England. They've been pretty bad against tight ends. So Dalton Kincaid, this one is interesting watch for. If he is out, we will get his teammate that is all the way down here, 2,800, Dawson Knox. I think if you want to punt at tight end this week and want to go that route, if Kincaid is out, that's a pretty good punt opportunity. Other than that, Dallas Goedert, 4,200, yet again playing against the Giants, where he just got 29 DraftKings points in that one. So with the Adoree Jackson out, I don't know why I went Adoree Jackson, but the Giants do have some secondary injuries. Obviously, Adoree Jackson's on Philly, but Dallas Goedert, it kind of benefits him. So at 4,200, I like that one. And then we're going to go down, and I will say this one. This is one I really like, and I think it's a good punt option. Is Colston Loveland at 3K if Cole Kmet is out, right? We've seen him get included. Obviously, there's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. DeAndre Swift, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Zacchaeus, Burden. But if Kmet is out, he's going to be on the field pretty much every play. I believe Smythe is the other tight end they have in Chicago, so he'll get on the field. But if Kmet is out, you get a 3K tight end in a really good matchup against Baltimore. I think Roquan Smith will be back. But with all the weapons there, kind of Baltimore's secondary is getting healthier, so it's not like as much of a need. But the way Chicago's been running the ball, I think it will open up Loveland with some plays. So that one is interesting in that aspect. So at 3K, I think if you want to punt at tight end this week, I think Loveland's in a really good spot. Defenses, Colts defense at 3,800, yes. Miami, I mean, Darren Waller's out now. Even one of their backup tight ends is out. So I think the Falcons defense could be interesting at 3,500. The Bills 33 against Carolina with Andy Dalton. And like I said, I like Andy Dalton. Carolina will go in the run game. Obviously, the Bills' weakness has kind of been against the run. So that's an option. And then I will shout out Houston defense, and that's because of how banged up San Fran's offense is. Obviously, or their defense, obviously, they're missing some pieces on offense as well. But I think it's a really good opportunity for the Texans defense at 3K. I don't love it, but I think it's optional. If Lamar is out, Chicago's defense at 2,600 against Cooper Rush in that led team. Yeah, and that's kind of it. Cheaper defenses like Titans, obviously missing one of their pieces. I'm not paying for that against one. I will say the best offense in football right now. I don't want to take a shot on the Giants against Philly. I mean, even if AJ Brown is out, I still don't know if I want to go there. Miami could be interesting if Kirk's the quarterback, but I mean, still, even then, it's just ugly as a whole. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking we pay up at defense this week just a little bit, right? Cleveland's an option against New England. I don't love that though. New England's been really efficient this season on offense, at least just getting points. So I think the Bears, if Lamar's out at 26, or we're kind of looking at the Texans at 3K. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Hope you guys did enjoy this. I will have the GPP video going out tomorrow, so don't worry. If I miss some of the players you're looking at, they're probably in my tournament pool. And still, if you're still a little confused on what that means, it's just the cash is going to be the higher owned, better projected, better points per dollar plays. It doesn't mean you have to play them. If you want to cash, like I cashed last week because I went Justin Herbert. He was the second highest quarterback. I did like him, but he wasn't one of the higher owned quarterbacks. He was less than 2% in the double up. So you have to get different. And that's why we talk about GPP. And that's why it's good to have some GPP players in your lineups for cash. You don't want to have ownership where everyone else has ownership on every play. You do. There are certain plays you do last week, like Rashee Rice and Judkins. But you got to get different somewhere. So, like I said, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.